Hi everyone, I hope you are doing well. So we're back. We're going to do another video. And today, our adventure is going to take us to the story about Mary Bell. So today's story is from True Crime Case Histories, Volume 1 by Jason Neal. It shows that a child can commit an awful act upon another person. But before we get into this story, I would like to ask you guys for a favor. The Halloween season's right around the corner. I'm trying to do something really cool. I want to read scary stories every Saturday in the month of October for you guys. I want to do it live. I want your guys' feedback with love stories. I want to do something live. I think that would be great. But I need your guys' help with that. So I appreciate you guys. You guys are going to help me make it awesome. So, anyways, um, on that note, let's get into the story. In the late 1960s, the Scotswood area of Newcastle, England, was a rough neighborhood that was sadly neglected, full of derelict houses and slums. The location was often referred to as Rat Alley. Many buildings were being torn down to make way for newer high-rise flats. However, despite its roughness and social problems, the community felt safe. Children roamed unsupervised, commonly playing in broken-down homes. One of the children that wandered the area was a 10-year-old named Mary Bell. Mary was a well-known bully whom the other children feared. Mary's teachers also noted her. Though she was a bright and clever girl, she was better known for her sadistic side. One of her teachers recalled Mary putting a cigarette on another student's cheek simply because she got a better grade than her. Yet, despite Mary having admitted to doing it, school administrators did nothing to address her actions. On Saturday, May 11th, 1968, Mary and her friend Norma Bell, no relation, they have the same last name but they're not related, isn't that crazy? Played with a small 3-year-old boy and told him they were going to take him to go buy some candy. The little boy was later found wandering the streets, dazed and bleeding. The police were called, but again no action was taken. The next day, the Newcastle police received a complaint from a mother that Mary had tried to strangle her daughter in a playground while Norma held the girl down. But again, it was a complaint against a 10-year-old girl, so the police thought nothing of it. On May 25th, the day before Mary's 11th birthday, she noticed 4-year-old Martin Brown playing outside with his friends. She told the boy she wanted to play a game with him and took him to one of the nearby derelict houses. Mary took Martin upstairs and told him he had a sore throat. She said she could make him feel better by massaging his neck. Mary placed her hands around his throat and strangled the life out of the boy. Hours later, a construction worker found the boy's lifeless body in the building and called for help. A neighbor contacted Martin's mother, who ran to the home to find his skin pale. There were no marks on him, just a trickle of blood coming from the corner of his mouth. When police investigated the death, they noticed pills lying near his body. Initially, they thought that may have been the cause of death, but later, that theory was ruled out, and investigators believed he had died of natural causes. Finally, they thought the boy may have died of fright because he had previously fallen down a flight of stairs. The local newspapers called Martin Brown the Rat Alley Boy. Mary showed up at his mother's door following Martin's death. "I've come to see Martin," she said to his mother. Assuming she didn't know Martin had died, Martin's mother told her that Martin had passed away. Mary says, "Oh, I know he's dead. I want to see him in his coffin." Martin's mother was shocked and slammed the door. As the days passed, Mary told family members and other children at school that she had killed Martin Brown, but no one believed her. Then, in her school notebook, she drew a picture of Martin's body, the way it was lying in the house, and a bottle of pills next to his body. Next to the pills was the word tablet, and the workman who had found the body. Mary also wrote in the notebook, "There were crowds of people beside an old house. I asked what the matter was. There was a boy who just laid down and died." All of this went completely unnoticed by authorities until much later. 2 days after Martin's death, there was a break-in at a nursery. Police found 4 pieces of paper with scribbles that read, "I murder so that I may come back." Another read, "We murder, watch out." Yet another read, "We did murder Martin Brown. Fuck off, you bitch." Police, however, dismissed these notes as a childish prank. The people of Newcastle blamed Martin's death on the dangers of the Rat Alley slums, and protesters marched down the streets, claiming that the city should properly clear the old buildings. Mary Bell participated in the protests on July 31st. Mary's home life was not like the other children's. Mary's mother, Betty Bell, was a well-known prostitute specializing in bondage and sadomasochism. I'm sure I said that wrong. I'm not even going to try it again. Betty would bring her clients home, where Mary would witness the BDSM acts. Mary was forced to have sex with the clients as early as 4. You gotta be kidding me. What is wrong with people? Who would want to do that? Who's that sick fucker? Who? 4? Mm-hmm. It's a baby. Anyways. Betty had repeatedly tried to kill Mary within her first few years, giving her drugs as candy and claiming she had accidentally taken her sleeping pills. Other family members became suspicious when Betty claimed Mary had fallen from a window. Betty also attempted to give Mary away to relatives, but later changed her mind and took her back. Betty was well known for going away for weeks, leaving Mary alone and unsupervised. Mary's father, Billy, was no better. He was rarely there, and when he was there, he was drunk and physically abusive to Betty and Mary. It was no wonder Mary turned out the way she did. Mary struck again with her friend Norma 2 months after Martin's death. The public still had no idea there was a killer amongst them. Instead, they believed Martin's death was the fault of the development companies. As a result, children continue to play unsupervised in the streets, even at the youngest of ages. 4-year-old Brian Howe was playing by himself and watching the demolition of the houses of Rat Alley when Mary and Norma approached him. They took him to an area called the Tin Lizzie, a small wasteland. When Brian was reported missing a few hours later, police found him half naked in a spread eagle position, with scissors and a lock of his hair found near his body. Police found that he had been strangled, his legs cut, his calves punctured, and someone had tried to cut his penis off. The letter M had been cut into his stomach. It was almost as if Mary Bell wanted to get caught. Post-mortem examinations determined that the cuts were inflicted after his death. Still, investigators didn't connect the two ends. Days later, as Brian's coffin was carried out of his home, a police officer noticed something sinister. While Brian's friends and family wept, Mary Bell was laughing. Mary Bell was standing in front of the Howe's house when the coffin was brought out. I was, of course, watching her. And it was when I saw her there, I knew I did not dare risk another day. She stood there, laughing. laughing and rubbing her hands. I thought, my God, I've got to bring her in. She's doing another one. Detective Chief Inspector James Bobson, Newcastle Police. When investigators realized that the cuts on Brian's stomach formed an initial, they knew they were looking for a child. They finally realized that the two murders were linked. Police announced in a press conference that they suspected a child was responsible for the murders, and Mary listened intently at the front. She seemed to want to draw attention to herself. Word got around that Mary Bell had bragged to other children that she had killed Martin, and investigators started looking into her as a suspect. Detectives spoke to Mary's father, Billy Bell, who initially refused to let them talk to her, but eventually allowed their questioning. Police, by that time, had interviewed a 9-year-old boy who claimed to have witnessed the strangling of Brian Howe. But Mary denied the murder and sarcastically cried, "Send for my solicitor." I don't know what she means by that. If you guys know what she means by that, comment down below. The community initially felt sorry for Mary, assuming that, at only 10 years old, she had no idea what she had done. However, the evidence piled up despite Mary's denials. Police made the connection between Mary and the notes that they had found 2 months earlier. When investigators spoke to her teachers, they found her school notebook where she had drawn a picture of Martin Brown's body with the word tablet next to it. Police had not informed the public about the tablets found near the body. They knew then that Mary was the killer. Mary's friend Norma, when questioned, admitted her involvement in the murder of Brian Howe, but she claimed it was all Mary. On August 8, 1968, Mary Bell was charged with murder. Detectives were stunned by Mary's intelligence level. She was cunning despite her age, denying accusations and seemingly anticipating the questions before the police asked them. The local police were as disturbed as anyone over the arrests. They had never encountered offenders of such a young age. During the trial, Mary was calm, as if she had no idea what she was accused of, dancing near her seat and turning around during proceedings to ask for candy. Generally, the accused sits alone in a box during the trials in England. However, the judge allowed Mary to sit with her lawyers because the defendant was so young. The trial lasted 9 days, during which Mary and Norma were allowed to state their case. The prosecutor, Rudolph Lyons, started the proceedings by linking the two murders. Prosecutors then brought in handwriting experts to analyze the confessional notes in the nursery and the drawings from Mary's school notebooks. They explained how Mary and Norma morbidly taunted the victims' families by asking to see the bodies. Gray wool fibers from Mary's dress were discovered on both victims' bodies and presented as forensic evidence. Maroon fibers from Norma's skirt were also found around Brian's shoes. The prosecution presented a strong case against both girls. As the trial progressed, it became clear that Mary was the dominant figure between the two girls. Norma was overwhelmed by the trial, and observers took pity on her. Mary, meanwhile, gave quick and witty remarks as if she hadn't a care in the world. Prosecutors also called on psychiatrists to examine Mary and testified that she suffered from a psychopathic personality disorder, demonstrated a lack of empathy, and was likely to act on impulse. The jury deliberated for 5 hours and returned with their verdict. Norma was considered simple-minded and acquitted of the charge of manslaughter. Mary was found not guilty of murder, but guilty of manslaughter, and sentenced to be detained at Her Majesty's pleasure, which meant an indefinite prison sentence. Let's remember that part right there, okay? Let's just remember the Majesty's pleasure and how it means an indefinite prison sentence, okay? Because this is going to blow your guys' mind. The jury and trial observers heard nothing of Mary's home life or how it may have affected her actions. Because of Mary's young age, authorities wanted to attempt to rehabilitate her rather than punish her, believing Mary didn't truly understand what she had done. She was too young to go to a mental hospital, so Mary was assigned to a secure school where she could be given constant attention. The people of Newcastle agreed and felt sympathy for Mary because of her young age and upbringing, despite her horrible crimes. Mary Bell spent 12 years in detention. She spent 6 years in Red Bank Juvenile Institution, where she was the only girl with 22 boys. While there, she blamed others for her crimes, never admitting her offenses. Mary's mother, Betty, visited her in school, but Mary eventually blamed her too for the crimes, writing her the following letter. Please, ma'am, put my tiny mind at ease. Tell judge and jury on your knees. They will listen to you cry of please. The guilty one is you, not me. I am sorry it has to be this way. We'll both cry, and you will go away. Tell them you are guilty, please. So then, ma'am, I'll be free. Your daughter, May. Betty Bell gave a TV interview years later, clearly broken and suffering from drug and alcohol addiction. In 1980, at the age of 23, Mary was released and given a new identity. She had a daughter during her incarceration, and the media eventually tracked that daughter down, who, until then, she had known nothing of her mother's crimes. In 2003, Mary and her daughter won a case in the High Court, which gave them both anonymity for life. And that is the end of that story, guys. Isn't that fucked up? And now she's just free with a whole new name. So, I mean, your neighbor could essentially be this lady. You don't know. This lady could have killed, you know, she killed 2 people. I don't understand. I don't understand people. Well, anyways, she's free. She killed 2 kids and laughed about it. I'm not an expert, but she's clearly not okay. And let me just ask, how did she have a kid while she was incarcerated? Because that's what the story said, right? So, anyways, when I was doing, getting everything ready, I noticed that. So I actually Googled it, okay? Because I was like, she was a kid when she was locked up, and she had a daughter. This story said that she had the kid while she was incarcerated. But while I was doing my research, I found that she had her daughter 4 years after being released, but stated she was sexually abused by a member of staff and several inmates. At the same time, she was incarcerated at Red Bank. I'm pretty conflicted on this one. She was abused most of her young life, and she possibly killed those little boys due to all the abuse she suffered at such an early age. Like, she had been started getting raped at 4 years old, and abused, and her mom kept trying to kill her, and but who knows? But it doesn't make it right. Okay. You know, despite widespread belief, two wrongs don't make it right. So even though she killed them little boys, it doesn't make it right for her to get raped while she's in jail either. Okay. Because two wrongs don't make it right. Okay. There's still two wrongs. Um, but anyways, you know, our adventure ends here. And I'm glad you guys joined me. If you liked my video, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe. Come on, what are you guys waiting for? You know, come join the fun bus. I don't know. Anyways, and I just want to thank you guys so much. So much. You know, I know I am only just starting out with like my subscriber count and everything, but I'm almost at 300. I started off with 0. And I'm at almost 300 because of you guys. You guys are the best, man. The best. You know who brought us there? You guys. You guys brought us. You guys are the best. My shining stars, you know. Anyways, I appreciate you guys. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.